Yeah, it's legit. Yeah, it's legit. Queens of credit. Queens of credit. Queens of credit. Queens of credit. Call them up. Call them up. And get your blessing. Get your blessing. Yeah, they lit. Yeah, they lit. They fix it quick. They fix it quick. It really work. It really work. Yeah, it's legit. Yeah, it's legit. Yeah. Yeah, you want that car, you want that house. But your credit really, really in a drought. Queens of credit have you walking in the bank. Queens of credit have you chilling by a lake. You've been waiting for too long, ain't no more time for delay. It's just time to level up, you ain't got no room to play. Always putting others right before yourself. It's your time to shine, time to stack as well. I hit a bag calling, I see the money fall.
Hey, Queens of Credit. What's up, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited. Listen, y'all know what time it is. It's Thursdays. It is time to build your score. So wherever you're joining from, welcome. YouTube, I think we got you tuned in tonight. So, and Facebook. And I decided to go take it off of my personal page and put it here because there are some things that I'm going to be releasing that I've noticed that it's some people that follow me that, you know, they do credit and they just now starting off. And so, hey, they just now starting out. And so they're using my Facebook page in order to feed, you know, the information to their clients when, you know, I'm not charging y'all for this. So that's why I was like, let me just bring it on in here. So, hey, y'all, hey, let's go ahead and get started. Tonight, we are talking about several things that you need to know about when it comes to your credit. What's up? While we're going over this, if you have any questions, please put them in there because we're going to cover a lot of information tonight, okay? So if you have any questions, just put it in there. But if no further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk about you know, a lot of people say that credit cards are bad. Credit cards are not bad, okay? The one thing that we have to realize is that there are going to be times when you need extra money, or let's just say you're getting ready to launch a business, right? And you need extra capital. So this is why credit cards are not bad. It is an added layer of protection. So don't, and I had to put that on here because I know like a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to use credit because, you know, credit is bad. But, you know, in these days, like in these millennial times, you know, credit is something that will get you access when other things won't. The next thing is it's always better to buy with cash. Now, the reason why that is not true, okay, because anytime you buy with cash, it's not helping your credit. But anytime you use your credit card and then you pay it off every single month, right, it will actually boost your credit score. So that's why buying everything in cash, it's not always a good thing. Like, is it a luxury to be able to buy stuff in cash? Absolutely. That means like you're super duper blessed. But let's say like 5 years from now or 5 months from now, you need a line of credit because of something that you need to gain capital access to. And they look at your credit and you tell them, hey, I buy cash. You know, I buy everything with cash. There's no way for them to prove that, right? So that's why it's important. That's why it's so important to make sure, hey, so let's go back. All right. So credit cards cause debt. Credit cards do not cause debt. The people that use the credit cards, they're the ones that cause the debt. So the way that credit cards work is as soon as you get ready to buy something, be prepared to pay that off within that 30 days, because if you pay those balances down, and I'm gonna tell you guys why that's important later. I'm not gonna go into that now, but you wanna make sure that you're paying those debts completely off, okay? Next thing is that credit card debt is not a big deal. Listen, you can believe that if you want, but credit card debt is a huge deal, okay? And the reason for that is because the more debt that you have, the more your utilization is. And so y'all already know we talked about utilization. For those of you that are new to my teaching, utilization is 30%, okay? And so if your utilization is over that 30%, it's going to drop your score. And so that's like 120 points that you cannot play with. Next thing is applying for a credit card will hurt your credit score. Now, some truth to that, meaning that it will hurt it a little bit, but it won't hurt it much. Now, if you get approved, If you get approved, then your score is going to drop probably about 50 to 60 points because it's a new open account. Now, the benefit or the blessing is that you will recoup those points. Okay, so, and I just want to tell you this because sometimes people will apply for a credit card and then wonder why their score dropped, even though they got approved for it. And so that's just a part of it because it's a new account. So anytime you get a new account, it's just, that's just what it is. It's just going to happen. All right. Debit cards are safer to use than credit cards. Listen, anytime you're out there swiping your card, there's always a chance that there could be a scammer out there, right? And so, yes, the banks will give back the money. However, let's just say it was a legitimate swipe, right? Let's just say you were buying something for real and it was a good business decision at that time. But the person who you paid did not do right by the services that they were providing. A debit card is not going to give you your money back just simply because they didn't do a good service, but your credit card will. Okay, so that's why, you know, it's important to use your credit card instead of your debit card. Now, you have to carry a balance to build credit. The truth is, you do not want to carry a balance. And if you are going to carry one, you want to make sure it's like $5 to $10, like nothing massive. The reason why you don't want to carry a balance on your credit cards every single month is that you will be charged an over interest payment. Okay. So that means that the more that you use on that credit card and they actually report it, that means the higher your interest rate is going to be on that credit card. What am I saying? I'm glad you asked. Okay, so like let's say you have an American Express card and the limit is $5,000. The balance on that card is $2,000. That's how much you charge. That's how much you spent. You spent $2,000. Now, when it's your payment due date is the 15th, right? Now here comes the 15th. Whatever balance is on there on the 15th, if it's 2,000, if it's maxed out, if it's 1,000, that's what's going to be reported to the credit bureaus. Now, if you're over the 30%, your score is going to go down, right? If there's any balance on the credit card, then they're going to charge you a higher interest rate. Like you're going to be charged interest on that. So that's why if you have a credit card, it's not free money, right? But it is used for things that you may not want to use your money for because you have an emergency. Just make sure that you pay it off, okay? You should close a card before opening a new one. Please don't do that. And the reason for that is that when you close a card, you lose all of that history. And that's about 55 points, okay? Because when you think of the length of history, that's 15% of your credit. And as soon as you close that card out, just because you open up a new one, you're going to lose those points. So it's not going to balance itself out. Actually, it's going to make it worse. So make sure that you keep that old card on there. Do not close it out. Very, very, very important. Credit cards are for purchasing items you don't have the money to use otherwise. Now, y'all know. Well, it depends. We're just going to skip that one. Let me tell you this. There's an app called Tally, Tally, right? There's an app called Tally, Tally. And so you may want to download that app to help you in your budgeting. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you that that's true or false because I don't want to offend anybody in their spending, but I do want to hold you accountable. So download that app, Tally, okay? Because credit cards are definitely not for that. There are no penalties for maxing out your card. That is true. They do not penalize you for maxing out your card, but you are you are going to be penalized because not the credit card. The credit card company is not going to penalize you, but the credit bureaus are. So Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, they're going to penalize you for maxing out your cards. That's where we get into that whole utilization, the whole debt owed, the whole 30%. Okay. So that's why it's so important that if you max your card out, stuff happens. Stuff happens. If you max it out on that due date, make sure you pay it off or at least pay 90% of it off. Okay. Sorry. Having multiple cards is bad for your credit. That's false. Having multiple cards is not bad for your credit. It's the way that you manage those cards that you have. So that means if you've got 10 cards, but you're under the utilization on all of them, kudos to you because your credit score is going to be like an 800. Okay. But let's just say you got 10 cards and 7 of them are maxed out, then yeah, you don't need that many cards. Okay. So that's the only time that gets to that place. Now, let's talk about the credit card myths. Okay. We went over a couple of these already. But one of those is that a credit card cannot be duplicated. It can. A credit card can be duplicated. And the way that happens, is that like there are different machines and different scamming apps that can actually duplicate your credit card and use it as if you were there. So you got to be very careful with your credit card. All right. The next one is that nobody knows the PIN, so the card is safe. You don't always have to use the PIN to use the credit card. And for those of you that have credit cards or use your debit card as a credit card, you already know that you can run it as a credit. Somebody can yank your card, go to the gas station and run it up because they don't have to have your PIN if they hit the credit. The next one is the more cards, the higher the credit score. We kind of went over that. It's not the higher your credit score is going to be. It's the way that you are going to be managing the credit that you have, okay? Nobody knows the CVV code, so it's safe. Of course, that's not true, okay? So just because they don't know the CVV code does not mean that they cannot use it, okay? So I just want to make sure that you guys understand that. Lastly, co-signing. You want to make sure that you are not co-signing for anybody. Okay, I'm going to say that again. You want to make sure that you're not co-signing for anybody. And the reason for that is they can miss one late payment and it won't just affect their credit. It's going to affect yours too. And so let's just say they missed 2 payments. They drop their score 120 points. They drop your score 120 points. They go get their credit repaired and they remove the late payments. Their scores go back up 120 points. That does not affect your credit, okay? It's still going to remain on your credit. So even though it may have been adjusted on theirs, it will stay on yours. So that's why co-signing is not a smart idea. It will add to your debt. It will add to your utilization. And that is something that you want to stay far, far, far apart from. The next thing is that paying off a negative record means that it is taken off of your credit report. That is false. So just because you made that payment does not mean that it's coming off of your credit, okay? That will mean that they will no longer report it. So like, let's say you owed AT&T, right? And you owed them a collect, and now it's in collections. So you call them and out of good faith, you make the payment. Well, they will stop reporting it. They will even stop selling it, but it doesn't delete it. The only way it can be deleted is one, if you get it removed or if the bureaus decide to make it fall off. So I know we went over a lot of information tonight. Let me make sure one thing else I want to tell y'all, because y'all know to build your score be. Let me see. Oh, I'm glad I reminded myself. Hold on. When you make payments to your utility bills, your cell phone bills, or your rental history, that is not going to help your credit because it's not being reported. However, I do know of a program that will help you boost your score by paying your rent. So if y'all need that, just inbox me rent so I'll know what to send you. But this particular program, they can go back up to 2 years, right? And so that'll give you 2 years of payment history. And here's the benefit. I don't care if you pay your rent on the 15th of the month, they're still going to report it as being paid on time. And every time they report it as being paid on time, it's going to boost your credit score. So that's one way that you can get your rent reported, because most of the time you're not getting credit for where you rent until you get evicted. And so at that point, like it's a done data, and there is no reason for it to be reported. So this is a way for you to get your rent reported. So like, let's say you're paying $1,500 a month or $800 a month or whatever your rent is, right? You want that as a revolving line of credit on your credit report, because when lenders look at your credit, they're going to know that you're paying your bills on time, even if you're not. Anyway, thank y'all so much for joining me for Build Your Score Thursdays. I love you guys. I'll see you next Thursday. I don't think I'm going back on my page with the Build Your Score again because I have had several credit repair business owners who are using the information I'm posting on my personal page, and they're charging people for it when I'm not. Like, I'm all about blessing people and giving it to you for free 99, especially if it's information, because we know that information and knowledge, especially that is applied, it is powerful. And they didn't teach us about this in school. So that's my job, to get y'all where y'all need to be. So that way, whenever you do decide to either start working on your credit or you're looking at something on your credit, you're not confused and you don't just let anything happen. God bless you guys. Love you guys. See you next Thursday.
Credit, queens of 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 credit. Yeah, they lit, they fix it quick, It really work, Yeah, it's legit, Queens of credit, queens of credit, queens of credit, queens of credit. Call them up, and get your blessing, Yeah, they lit, they fix it quick, It really work, Yeah, it's legit.